Today's guest is Macarena. She's an energy healing practitioner of divine love, quantum healing. Her journey began with one of life's most heartbreaking experiences, a miscarriage, and completely changed the course of her life. And after years of searching for answers through different healing modalities, external achievements, and spiritual practices, she discovered everything she had been seeking was already within her. Through deep healing and shadow work and reconnecting with her intuition, she found her soul's purpose and now guides others back to their own inner truth and true essence and healing. So I'm so excited to bring her on to have this conversation. We're going to get right into it and bring Macarena in to do another reintroduction, introduce herself a little bit, and let's get started. Macarena, welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome. Grateful to have you here today. Come on in.
Thank you, Marisa, for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here with you today and with your listeners and sharing. And I hope that this podcast, this episode today is inspiring for those that are listening and they can feel reflected in this journey, and that our conversation today awaken something in them.
Beautiful said. Thank
intention.
you. Yes, absolutely. Can you tell us a bit about where you're from, where you were raised?
Yeah, so I am originally from Spain. I have been raised in Madrid. I have lived my entire life until I was around 27, when I moved abroad. So I am living abroad for 14 years now.
Wow.
I'm living in the Nordic countries, where I met my husband and we had children. So I am based in Sweden. And of course, very deeply connected with my roots in Spain. But my healing journey, like the depth of the healing journey, was held in this beautiful land, which is very healing, very... there is, let's say, a less strong artificial grid compared to Spain. So it was easier for me to start, or like to deepen my healing journey in a land where you can breathe, you can come out for breathing easier than a dense country as Spain.
Or the United States. Have you ever been to the US?
Yeah, I studied in New York University for almost 1 year. So yes, wow. I lived there for a while, for a few months, and I had been in Los Angeles, in some areas of the United States, but I was younger, so I was, of course, in another
another season of your life.
Yes.
Wow, amazing. Well, welcome. Before we get to like your story and where your healing began, I'm sure our listeners are kind of wondering and curious about what is divine quantum love healing. Can you tell us a little bit about your own words, like what that means and how you work with it?
The thing is, it is difficult to put a name, and that was my biggest, the name is channel, of course, and it had to be divine love, but the quantum healing, it is just it's like to put it into a concept that people can understand, but the name itself, it doesn't define the healing, because it's, as I always say, it's not about the modality. It's not the modality that heals. It's not divine love quantum healing that heals. It is the soul behind the channel. So the clear vessel of the soul channeling the frequencies that heals, that facilitates transformation in others. So the name is just because, of course, I honor divine love, which for me is unconditional love. And those are the frequencies that I channel, and frequencies that are available for everyone to channel. So it is just not me, everyone, because we are unconditional love. So everybody can channel these frequencies for healing, for manifestation, for physical healing, for everything. But, and that is why it's the most beautiful about divine love quantum healing, or about channeling unconditional love, that these frequencies only can flow through a vessel that is clear. So that is embodying unconditional love. So everybody can channel unconditional love, but because it is very, very fair. Because if your vessel is not clear enough, if you haven't embodied that frequency, doesn't matter if you say you are channeling these frequencies, they won't facilitate through transformation in others, And that is why I have many clients that have done all type of healing modalities, and they are still looping and looping and looping. And I always say to them, it's not the modality that heals. It's not divine love quantum healing that is going to heal. It's not even me, Macarena, the human, it is the vessel. It is the vessel that facilitates the frequency flowing through, and that is what heals. So my embodiment, the embodiment of the healer, is what facilitates the healing in others. So the modality is just, it was channeled, so it represents divine love, represents the frequencies that are in the container that I create in the quantum realms to facilitate the healing,
Beautiful. We're definitely going to get a lot more detailed into that because I know, our listeners want to know more because I did. That's how I felt, about energy healing. And we're going to get all about maybe some misconceptions people have and what does that look like? Maybe if we have some time at the end, you want to do a short, few minute little session for us. I don't know, give someone an experience, kind of like a little introduction to what it might look like, right? If they had a session with you or somebody else. So definitely we'll get into that. But that was a beautiful introduction. Thank you for sharing that. And also we'll get into, what it means to have a clear vessel, what it means to channel, right? Because I was there too. All right. Well, take us back if you could before your healing journey started. What was happening in your life around that time? Just kind of painting a picture of how Macarena was around that time frame, right before the cusp of the healing journey or when that started.
Yeah, I mean, my entire life since I was a kid, I kind of felt very strongly that there was something in this reality that it was not like what we were being told. It didn't match what it didn't feel right to me, But I follow the path that I was seeing around, I was good. I was a good student. I tried to be at such a well-behaved kid as I could, and then I studied a degree and I tried to fit in what was like the normal life, and have a good life. But always, always, always felt inside me that what we were being told there was something that it didn't match the feeling in my heart, I mean, now looking back, my upbringing was from the external very easy, because I grew up with all kinds of comforts, but I lack many things, like the time with my parents, to just be with them, you know, the most simple things, and those so chosen, very strong wounds and very deep, that my soul chosen just to wake up. It was exactly what my soul needed to wake up to the truth of who we are. And the miscarriage, which came later in life, it was just like the last drop in the glass for me, or for my pain to
open up,
to explode, and my heart to fully open up and start looking inside for answers instead of always changing something outside. I'm sure a lot of your listeners are going to relate. Was like, okay, there is something painful in my life. I don't know, a heartbreak, relationship with parents, whatever. I was changing something outside. I was moving to another country. I was studying another master. I was going into another community. Always changing something outside, and it worked. It distracted me from my reality that I was going through. Exactly, like numbing yourself in a way. But when I had the miscarriage, it's like I couldn't. I mean, there was nothing nothing else that I could change. I already moved country 3 times. I already studied, I don't know how many masters. I already, so it's like, okay, now it's time to look inside, and that was the last drop. And then from there, I looking for a psychologist that could help me through that time. I found Akashic Records. I didn't know what it was, but it resonated.
Oh, can I pause you there for a minute? So you started working with a therapist, a psychologist first, or you thought about it, but you didn't? Okay. Got it.
Looking for a psychologist, and in the same clinic or center that they offer psychologists specialized in miscarriage, they also offer Akashic Records. So I was exploring the entire website to see if it truly resonated, and then I thought, wow, this truly resonates with me. And then in the Pacific, yes, the first thing that came was the miscarriage. And of course, I didn't know this person. So I knew, okay, there is something. And that was just the beginning. From there, I was looking, exploring, never stopped looking and exploring until, I mean, and I tried many things before I found the one, the one that, because this is something very important that I'm seeing. And I want to say this to your listeners in case that
please do.
it resonates with them, if, in case that they are struggling in life, whatever they are going through, like they cannot find their path, the relationship is not working, the relationship with their family is upside down, even if they feel like, what is the purpose of this life? There is one thing. So we all, everyone, doesn't matter what they do, we all carry codes that are meant to awaken those that are meant to receive these codes. So in normal words, for people to understand, that is why I say it's not the modality, it is the codes that person carries. So I can be an excellent healer for someone, but maybe another person is not, I'm not carrying the codes that what will liberate the suffering from that person, because I have contracted, I don't know, whoever amount of people that before incarnating here, that my codes will alleviate their suffering. So we all carry the code. So that, in other words, if someone hasn't found what is working for them, look for the person, because it's the codes of the person. Doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter what that heals, that that alleviate the suffering, that will make you remember who you truly are, your path. And doesn't matter if you work as a dentist, as I used to work, or if you work, I don't know, with a computer. It doesn't matter. Or if you are a healer, it doesn't matter. We all carry codes that will awaken those that are meant to awaken, and nobody else will be able to facilitate that level of liberation for them. So they will spend their life looping and looping and looping until you find the one that carries the codes for your liberation. And that happened to me. And it took a while to find that person. And when I found it, I knew it. And it was automatic, like a journey. And my liberation was, of course, it was a long process, but it came. And why didn't came before with other people? Because she was carrying the codes that were meant to wake me up, and for that, for everything. So in other words, to alleviate the suffering that you are going through. So it is the codes, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be like energetic work or whatever. It is like, so if you haven't found relief, keep looking, keep looking for keep feeling.
Yeah, what you feel, what you sense. So tell us a little bit about what codes are, because people may not know. Like when you say, this person carry the code, or we all carry the codes, like maybe kind of peel a layer on that a little in whatever best way you can describe it for someone who may not know what that is. How would you describe it?
Let's say codes are the key. Is the key to liberate, to alleviate. So imagine I carry codes to liberate your suffering, because I have liberated my suffering first. So I have gotten the key from my heart. So I have liberated my suffering. I have activated my codes from within. So now I have my key, and I can open your
for somebody else
heart
if
with
it
my
matches.
Key. And then your job is getting your key so that you can alleviate the suffering for someone else, and that is how this word works.
The ripple effect.
The truth of it. Exactly. I take my key, someone had the code, I could take my key through that liberation. I could open my heart, take the key, take the code of truth, unconditional love, what we are, the truth of who we are, those codes, the key is what opens someone.
So it's like an energetic,
an
energetic form. Yes. So codes, can they come through different ways? Codes through different ways, like, for example, you mentioned energy healing, through sound healing, through elements. Like, can we receive codes through different things and on our earth, and the physical and the 3D? Is it more like a spiritual being, or like, how do we receive codes? I guess, if that's the right question to ask.
Yeah, that is a very good question, because codes are energy, and energy is everywhere. Everything is energy. The thing is the quality of the energy. So, for example, a sound healing session it is beautiful and it can awaken something in you, you know. But again, the codes for your liberation, so the energy that will liberate your suffering, could be in that person, you know, and that
Mhm.
you will feel it and you will continue with working, and then it will liberate you, you know.
Okay.
But codes are also like with, I don't know, people that, I don't know, false light, or that that don't have good intentions, like
Mm.
don't truly work with the frequency, like they they don't want, they don't help others from the heart because they, I don't know, they want the money, or that you know, something, their intention is not truly born from the heart, you know. uh, then maybe those codes will damage you more than help, you know. They will keep you like that far from your center, so
Yeah.
far from remembering who you are, far from embodying. You know, and they are everywhere, in what you read, in what you give your attention to.
Yeah. So it's really important that when you find somebody in that way, that the intentions, first of all, doing research, see how you feel, you know, and in order to, well, decide whether or not you want to keep going or not. And that might be more of like an intuitive thing of just
Yeah,
noticing how you feel when you work with somebody.
I see this person and it moves something inside me. Those are the distorted codes, move something very quick into
Uh-huh.
someone, you know, like,
Uh-huh.
because that is energy manipulation, not in a good way. The true one is subtle, humble, and loving. And these are the
Mm.
qualities. And those qualities are more gentle, because love is
Gentle.
gentle. Unconditional love is gentle. It's not, it doesn't, you know, it is gentle. That's why it requires like through listening to your heart. Like, it emanates joy. Does it emanate like a good feeling? Doesn't make you feel well, doesn't make you feel better when you get into contact of what you are reading, what you are seeing, you know, like, you know, not because it's filling your brain, not because you are reading what you want to read, you know, like, oh, everything's going to happen and it's going to get well. No, no, no. It is something deeper, you know, because there is so
Uh,
much manipulation out there, so much noise,
yes.
that going beyond the noise requires through really craftsmanship and listening, learning to listen beyond the noise, because the truth is never noisy. It is gentle. That is the
Oh, I
quality.
love
That
that.
is the
The
difference.
truth is gentle, not noisy. Yes, I love that.
What is distorted is very
It's
noisy.
beautiful.
Truth is gentle.
Mm.
Is fine. It's like a delicate rose. It's very fine. So
Yeah.
truly, you need to
That's a
attune to,
beautiful way of
you know.
looking at it. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that approach. You know, one thing that I also feel like, I mean, I don't, something about for me working with plants and plant energy and the sun, I feel, oh, and the water, I'm going to say. And it could be whether I'm in a bath or a shower or something like that, and I'm having like a healing kind of, yeah, like a healing moment, really. I feel like something shifts. There are moments. Could that be that I'm receiving codes like in that way? Can we receive codes to the elements as well that awaken us or kind of bring us back to our center or essence? Does that make sense?
Yes. So everything that is created from love, from unconditional love in the container. So the opposite to distortion, like the element of water, the element of earth, the sun, the plants, they carry codes. They carry the codes of creation. They carry the codes of unconditional love. That is
Because
why
they're
you have
created
when you
from
have a
love,
shower.
right?
Claro. So the thing is, I mean, but maybe going deep into this is just gonna be too much, because it's like this what I wanted to say, but maybe it's too much. So tell me if it is too much.
Well, it's
We'll
okay. Go for it.
explain why there is suffering in the world, like the root of it all.
Yes.
So let's say that everything is created from source, and within source, when the first streams of energy separated, everything that was created and inside the container of unconditional love, so source, it is sacred, it is truth. And there was another part that wanted to, let's say, out of curiosity, was not created inside the container of unconditional love. So those things are creating from
Mm.
distortion. And this
Mm.
land, earth, there is a lot of distortion here because of
Yes.
that, you know. And
Yes.
soulless beings that are empowered, soulless beings, they don't carry the divine spark within. So that is when people say, but how can people do so much bad to the world? Because they don't carry the divine spark. They cannot unlock this code.
Oh,
So And that explains why the opposite, the things that are created, that emanate from source and carry the divine spark and were created within the container of unconditional love and not out of curiosity, that happens when separated from the big unconditional love, which is source, which is what we are.
Right.
Those things are sacred, and those things heal. The water heal a shower. If
Yes,
everybody could
it
use that energy
does.
and truly see the code for what it is, it heals. It removes the layer of that day. You need to set the intention. So the water,
Yes.
I mean, and many things are distorted. That is the thing, that many things are distorted. So, but using what you say, the plants, the water, all of that, it just helps to connect with what is truth, what carries the
Yes.
divine spark. It's like the same essence that we all
Yeah,
carry,
because we were created from the same thing, so from source creator. Exactly. We're all
and
connected
inside
in
the
that way.
container of unconditional love.
Yes,
Yes,
I
inside
see.
that container of
Okay.
unconditional.
Wow, that's amazing. Pause the video if you need to reflect out there, y'all. Sometimes we need to
No, I'm
like
just going to.
pause on certain conversations to let it sit, like sink through and
Yes,
like see what you feel. Because, some of us might be
yes,
hearing
it's a
this for the
lot.
first time and having new insights and like maybe not understanding and just like, okay, what was that? Rewind it. If you're having some, difficulty kind of comprehending or understanding like what we're talking about, rewind it, take your time with it, or come back to it when you feel calmer and in a time ready to receive, right? Because sometimes certain conversations, I feel like we either may be open to receive it in that time and we may not. So, definitely use your discernment. And if you need to slow down the conversation, you need to pause it just so you can kind of take in whatever, we're talking about today. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, because it's
That's
a lot. It's
amazing.
a lot of,
Yeah, it is a lot. It
yeah.
definitely is a lot when you start this healing journey. That's kind of how I felt too. I felt that same way. Like, oh my God, there's just so much to learn, so much out there. But when you put it the way you do, it's very simple. I mean, it's obviously
The truth is
it's
very
not. It
simple.
just
It's
seems
like, you
simple.
know, I see people, and I was there. I'm not saying the opposite because I was there, and it is necessary in order to unlock your truth. But when I see people like focusing in the small details, like where do we come from, this and that, and always forgetting, always coming back that the truth is very simple. It's like, don't lose in the details. Come back to your center because the truth is always simple. If it doesn't look simple, and it's because maybe
Yeah,
it's not
it's not.
100% the truth. Maybe
Okay.
it's a truth that someone is distorting in order to put the codes that are not unconditional love so that you keep forgetting the truth. But from the outside, it looks like truth because 95% is truth. But that 5% that is not is very painful. It's very
Mm.
painful.
Wow, that's fascinating. All this work is fascinating. Going back to when you started your healing journey and looking for different kind of modalities, what were some of the healing modalities that you tried before you realized, like, oh, this energy healing is the one for me? Like, what else did you try?
I mean, I tried everything in the term because I was trying to know myself, So I dived deep into astrology, like dive deep.
Mm.
I dive deep into human design,
Human
gen codes,
yeah.
uh,
Raise my hand
galactic
over here.
astrology. Yeah, like everything,
Yes.
and then breathe work, Reiki. I tried everything, and it all
Mm.
kind of helped, but it didn't bring any depth. It brings just superficial because what truly brings depth
Mm.
is unlocking it from within.
Mm.
I remember later, many things that came from within that no reading, no astrology, no Takasi record reading, not physically, nothing no one could tell because it is from within. So that is why I always said it's not really the modality that can help you, on your journey so that you feel that you have the control. If you know your
Wow.
astrology, you have the control. If you know your galactic past life, you have the control because you feel you are controlling a journey that is never linear and it never can control with the mind because it's 100% done from the heart, but it's
Right.
still the mind. We are in a body, wants to control. So I did
Yes.
that and it gave me a kind of security, like, okay, I am in charge of this path. But in the end, it was the person when I met this person that truly, I was able to unlock all these things from within. And, when people say like, yeah, but what are those gifts that we carry? It's just, I don't know, healing abilities or physical abilities of the No, it's much more than that. That is just the superficial, of what we are or what we can do with energy. The problem is this energy, working with this energy is very fair. You cannot manipulate it. You can manipulate the energy that is not unconditional. Or that can be easily manipulated. And everybody that don't have good intentions are doing it. But unconditional love is very fair. It's available for everyone, but you need to go into the depth of the journey to unlock it within yourself and unlock the immense powers. And one of the most immense powers is alleviating the suffering, like alleviating the suffering.
Yes. What were some of you think, like, greatest painful moments, suffering, or they call it like the dark night of the soul? Like, kind of like, if you remember, share with us some of those most painful moments or things that you felt like you needed really healing around, any of those kinds of wounds. What were some of those?
I mean, during my entire healing journey, the depth of the healing journey, because the healing journey never ends, but the depth of it, when I was removing the deepest layers of wound, pain, distortion, I mean, I was having a dark night of the soul, almost one after the other one, because the dark night of the soul is when the layer of what we are not, the pain, the distortion, the belief that we had it like so true, that it has to be like it, when it's exiting your field. And that exiting is what the field feels like. I'm dying. I mean, I want to die. I will jump through the window. I can't cope with life anymore. And that is the layer releasing, that layer what is not you, because it is like a part of what you thought, you were, is leaving, because you are not. You are not that, you are not that belief. You are not scarcity. Right. But it is very difficult. You cannot, because we all know we are abundant by nature. Right. We are abundant by nature. Like it is our frequency. The frequency of unconditional love is effortless abundance, inner peace. It is who we are. But we know, all of us know that. The majority of people know that. It's our inherent nature. But why we cannot access that inner deep peace? Not some moments, like a live experience, like embodied all the time who we are. Like embodying that, connecting with that within us. Why we can't? Because there are layers that don't allow you to access what you truly are and embody that. No?
So let's go through those layers that we talked about at the beginning. What do you think some of those layers, or what are some of the like most common layer, the quote unquote layers, right, of what we need to go through to work through? Like, what would be some of those layers that you would name that you often see, well, yourself personally, but also with clients that you work with?
I mean, there are many. I will say that one of the layers that is the most difficult to remove for all of us, me included, when I was in that part, is like the part that life is hard. Life is hard. Life is very hard. Everything is hard. Like making money is hard. Finding people that get you is hard. Finding the love, a soulmate love or a twin flame, is hard. Like that, the feeling of everything is hard. And it is true. A part of it is true. Like everything feels hard because we are in a distorted world that has inverted everything. And that is why we are fighting with and feels like everything is hard. So it is true. But when you remove that layer, which is very difficult to remove, and it comes when you have removed other layers that get you get to that one, which is very deep, is in all of us, because we are in this together. Yes. Then you start seeing like, but life flows, it was just that layer, that those glasses that were not allowing me to see or to connect with the flow of life. But I also feel like some people are trying to get into that, into connecting with the flow of life, into the formless abundance, into the inner peace, without removing the layers. And they feel a block constantly, like they are hitting a wall. Because it is true, there is a layer, you're hitting a wall. It needs to be removed. Otherwise, it's like
that makes
you
sense.
Try to get into effortlessness in life, but you can't. And then you collapse. And then you go to another dark of the soul, even deeper, because you feel like everything that feels hard in our lives, the pain, the deep pain, losing someone, losing a relationship, another relationship that ended, a miscarriage, an illness that maybe we have to face even almost death. Everything is a signal, for waking up. It's signaling there is
Yes.
another layer that needs to be removed, because our true nature is not that. And I agree, not everybody is meant to, in this lifetime, to maybe reach that level of healing, and it's fine. We all have different paths, and every path is different. That is what I have noticed with my client. There is no
Yes.
two paths that are equal, but the work is always equal. Removing what you are not, so that you can experience within you what you are. And when you remove, the more layers you remove, the more in peace you will feel. And it is fine. And a mark that you are getting closer, like that you are in the right direction,
Direction.
it is like when you don't fight a fight with yourself anymore, like, oh, everything is difficult. It's like, and again, and another fight, and now this is showing. And, because since everything external is a reflection, when that inner war
It's more
has
peace.
finished, or is,
Yeah.
then,
More ease. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
ease,
And
ease.
I guess too, what some of those layers also include, I know like a big one for me, and I'll be honest, like one of the things that I really struggle with is external validation, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. And, this starts from such some young age, and it's really hard to break maybe that layer, right? Of healing that, or self-doubt and things like that. So would those also be considered like layers that need to be working through that healing to then have that like clear vessel? It's like, would that be considered one of those layers? I guess you could say is basically what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the layers is like that they are all intertwined. So, for example, like needing external validation, it is intertwined in many cases. I mean, every case is different, and when you go into the session, you see clearly how it's connected to other things. But in many ways, it's connected to an inner child that was never given enough time to express who they were. Like their emotions and their passions. They were all the time being sent back into, don't say that, behave like this, I don't have the time now, so not having
Yes.
space to be loved for who they truly are. Because when you are children, you express more, those raw emotions, those
Right.
love, the endless love, so it is very many times, okay, so that is why it is important, like, okay, someone said, okay, I have I have that, I feel that I have that I have a wound because I need validation and my life is not moving forward because this is blocking me. And you go and heal that. And you feel like, yes, you feel better because maybe you have removed one of the layers intertwined with that one, but you still are not like that thing. Yes, because it is connected with your inner child. And that is why it is important, like, to see beyond, because we feel that, but it is connected with so many other things, like a past life where, I don't know, where your entire family was killed. There is so much.
Right.
And
So
there
many
is so
things that
much
it could
that
be
is
connected to.
intertwined with. And that is not to scare someone. It's the opposite. It's to understand how powerful we are at a soul level,
Wow.
that all of that is just cloudy, what is, and there is so much to access within, but also so many layers to,
Oh, yeah.
in order to meet that.
Okay. And so for you, what do you think has been the most difficult for you to heal? What layer for you would you say, or layers?
For me, one of the most difficult layers to heal has been trusting 100%, not 99.9, even in the most difficult times, even when nothing outside can confirm your inner journey. So like you are years in this journey, and not everybody needs to go through this. This was mine, but absolutely no, doesn't mean that everybody has this layer. Absolutely not. Or that everybody needs to go through. Not at all. But it was for me. Like, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep listening to your inner voice. There are more layers. Keep going, keep going. When the external world was not going past, not reflecting yet your inner work, like
So
the
it wasn't
speed
aligning.
of your inner work. So trusting the path, really trusting the truth within, like that things are not as they don't work as we believe they do, like we have to work hard, like we have to do all of that, all of that life, it should feel effortlessness, like in all areas. And it's not, it doesn't matter. There
And
is
that's
nothing
the
like, oh,
opposite we're taught.
yeah, exactly.
Which is
But
sad.
the truth for our nature is effortlessness. And it is fine if the life doesn't feel effortlessness. This is a journey, but it just indicates you are not meeting, you are not unlocking who you truly are. And then it's up to all of us to decide
Right. If we
if
want,
we want to meet that
that's
part
our
or if
will.
we are fine with our lives,
Exactly. Yeah, it's your
It's
choice,
okay.
right? Your free will,
It's our
your
choice.
choice. Like
Exactly.
you said, it's not you know,
It's not
we
a
may not
must.
have came on here for that work, right? You feel called to, then that may be a sign, right? That you feel called to do
Exactly.
this deep inner
That is
work. Yeah. So for you, it was like an inner knowing that kept telling you, keep going, keep going. Were there any other life-changing events that you feel like really impact your healing journey, that like big moments, dark moments, or heavy?
Yeah, my entire journey was releasing one layer of, okay, so something was appearing in my life, for example, the relationship with my family, for example. And then when okay, now this is catching my attention, okay, I go and hit that layer. And then everything pieced in that area. I have understood, I found healing, I released those layers, I understood the why, everything, so that I could move forward in that, and then at the next one. And then maybe in community, so all area, in my case, was very extreme, like all areas had been untouched, like I couldn't bypass anything, I couldn't, because I couldn't find peace within, there was
Right.
something,
It was
always
they were
something.
too noticeable for you
Yes,
already. Yeah.
yes. The thing, like when you remove one layer, you feel good suddenly, like, wow, you feel like you have liberated yourself. But then the next layer
Then
comes.
there's another
So
one,
you want to
another
feel
one
that
that
peace
comes up.
again, because you know that it is real. You have
Yeah,
felt, and then you
that makes
continue and you
sense.
continue. But not everybody needs to come
Yes,
into
if you
depth
want,
in
you
order
don't
to
have to go that deep.
find peace with
Right.
life.
Like you said, just
Absolutely.
making peace with whatever feels,
Everybody
good
is
to you in that moment, and taking pauses right throughout the time. I know people
there.
take a lot of pauses throughout their healing journey too. Well, obviously you gotta, you want to be present and focus on what's happening in your life also, because healing work also is very intentional and can take a lot of time and energy too. So balancing it. Yeah. So how did you learn to balance? What was that like for you when you were doing your healing work and you were starting your family, or you were married, your relationships? Like, how did you do that?
When I truly found the person that what I said, that could truly help me, because he was carrying this code that I was meant to unlock in me, I was more receiving, I was not actively like going to a breath work, or like doing somatic work, or like doing yoga. No, I was not doing those were co-adjuvants, like going to yoga to help release the energy, or going to Pilates, or doing a breath work session, or sound healing. Those were co-adjuvants, but the true work was more like receiving. She was transmitting her beautiful unlocked codes and energy that she unlocked within herself, and those were just liberating me from layers, from the pain, from the wound, from the not knowing, from the not remembering, from the being unconditional love within. So I was just allowing that, during the session. You just allow and receive. The most difficult part is the after. So there is a purging. Um, there is a purging time where this layer that has just been uh, given light, a lot of light, so that, like you could not ignore it anymore, when it needs to leave your field. And that was for me the most difficult part, like the
Oh,
staying there present with the emotions, with the dark night of the soul, when you want to, like, and you cannot do anything there, because the mind always want to do, I go and meet a person, but there is, you need to stay with that. That was for me the difficult part, like the purging. But then after the purging came the heaven on earth feeling, and then, wow, and then you can take impulse again for another layer. But again, everybody can decide how deep they want to go. The life events will tell you, because it's not something that we need to force. Like, oh, I want to remove, if I want to remove this layer and this layer. It's like your life will tell you, if abundance doesn't flow, there is a layer. If love doesn't flow, if your relationship doesn't flow, there is something you need to look. There is a, it's life events, your life, things happening in your reality. is the information that your coach has chosen as a guide for you to know, to remember.
I see. So when you worked with your that person who helped you with your codes, you started with Akasha records first, or they started with energy healing work first, or what was their method of helping you to release?
Yeah, it was energy healing work, allowing the
And it was
light
in
to flow.
person, or you were doing like a distance?
No, I have done everything online.
Oh, okay. So everybody listening, it doesn't have to be in person. There is also the distance energy healing as well, right? So right now in a few minutes, we can get a little glimpse of that, and we'll take like 5 minutes or so. If you could share with us what that looks like, so that way some listeners out there can get an idea who are not familiar with it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Wonderful. At what point did you realize that you're being called to help others? So here you are, you're removing the layers. And then it starts activating you. You have your codes and starting to feel more ease. When did you realize this is my path? And how did you start to embody that? And what was that process like?
I mean, because the path, all of us that we are in this kind of deep work, we share a very similar path. We unlock the codes within so that we can help others. And it doesn't matter what I can do it with healing, but I could do it also as a dentist, and it's just with healing is more intentional because the other person is giving me the permission, is setting the intention that I want to heal. I want to remove this layer. Why? When I was working as a dentist, the patient did, still my codes were there, like that the person was receiving. But because the person didn't allow or set the intention, they can't fully receive the medicine, So the medicine comes back. We don't have to do anything. Once we have unlocked the code, the unconditional love within. That is the best way I can describe it. For which we don't need to do anything. The medicine carries. We can sit in a bench entire day and do nothing, and it's still the codes are there because it is energy. So it's helping at a collective level. So the majority of the people that are in this journey, in the truly deep healing work, so not superficial, but in this work, we all share very similar mission, that doesn't mean that all the clients that I have are meant to do this work. Not at all. The majority or many of them come just for the relief in their daily life, so that they can continue with their normal life. But the majority or a big part, it is because they are also doing this kind of work. It doesn't have to be exactly as I am because we all carry different codes.
Right.
But that is how we do it. I was liberated, if we can call it like that, from my suffering, from what my inner struggle, and how I am going to intentionally help others liberate themselves. It just it doesn't match with the frequency of unconditional love. When unconditional love means that you have found your liberation, it's like you cannot not help others liberate themselves. It's just you cannot not do it, And for everyone it's different. For example, in your case, it's more connected with the plants, more connected, with the lineage work, with the earth elements, And in my case, it's more maybe, with within a quantum container, in the angelic realm, But the purity of it, the nature of the energy, it is the same. It just maybe, because your code will help your medicine, will help those that you are meant to help, that need exactly what you are unlocking within yourself. And my medicine is meant to help those that are meant to help. And we contract before coming here. So that's why I said there is no competence or anything, because those that we are meant to help can only find relief through us. Through relief. I'm not talking about like a field of relief. Through relief. And it doesn't matter if it is now, in 10 years, or there is no time in this path, And
I agree. What have you seen? What's possible? Because I'm sure that people have wondered, other people's experiences, and you've seen what's possible through your own personal experience, but maybe clients. Can you kind of share a little bit about maybe a before and after of what's shifted or changed, or opportunities or things that change for a person receiving energy healing? So what have you seen? What's possible and change and shift for people?
I have seen, and I have clients with physical illnesses, and that they had been, and they are in medicine, which of course I always say and recommend parallel. You know, like they have been struggling for 10 years, they have been given a diagnosis, but they are not getting better, you know, and they feel like they cannot do more with traditional medicine because there's nothing more that they can do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go into sessions and they see it for themselves, you know, they feel it with themselves, they feel the parallel and they can feel it, they can sense it, they can recognize. So it's not only me telling them the information that I am channeling, but it is them feeling within themselves. And that is when
Wow.
healing occurs, when you can recall that, you know, they
Wow.
and when they come to me, they have tried everything that
Yes.
exists on planet Earth. And I always say to them, you need to acknowledge how amazing you are at a soul level, what you are doing, you know, for yourself, you know, like give credit.
Yeah.
And then I see a lot of
Wow.
people, well, that are coming as well, that they have tried everything, all the modalities, all the energetic modalities, and I see their systems upside down. So like their body cannot find peace because they are doing too much, you know, too much, but at the same time, nothing with depth, you know. So when we go into the session, it's like, you don't have to do anything. Who said to you that you have to do all of this? You just have to
Right.
remove the layers. There is nothing else to do.
Yes.
Nothing else. There is no to-do list. The only to-do list, remove what you are not. That's it. Don't put anything else on your list. The rest is just noise. Yes,
Yeah.
it is nice, and it's like you can go to a yoga class, but those are just nice feelings. You know, you go to a massage. You know, it's beautiful. It's amazing. But your only to-do list, if you want to have something in your to-do list, is remove what you are not, so that you can truly find who you are. Because you are going to be amazing. When you find it, you are going to be like, wow, I wouldn't want to miss it. So I see a lot of people that are exhausted, and I go into the bodies, and they are exhausted. The physical body is exhausted. The energetic body, the field is completely upside down. You know,
Wow.
and
Do you see it in your mind mentally? You're more like what is it, like imagery?
I mean, like an X-ray. You know, I see what is going on at that energetic level.
Wow.
I feel it in me as well. You know, and everybody can do this. I'm not special at all. Everybody, because it's our essence. This is who we are. Doing this is who we are. So
Existed.
everybody can do this. I want to say this clearly. If someone tells you that they have a super special gift that nobody else have, it's not true. We all express it uniquely because we are all one aspect, unique aspect of the all. But we all have this. We all can see as an X-ray view. We all can feel I mean, everybody is doing it, just they maybe not noticing, and they think that the thought that they are feeling or that they are thinking is theirs, and they are putting it on their shoulders when they are picking up from the collective, from the distorted, from their partner, their kids.
Right.
So we
Pick
are
up a lot
all,
of energies that way as well.
yes.
Wow.
And
That,
doing this work allows you to understand, oh, that thought is not me. Oh, it's coming from my partner. This is not, you learn to, and then
yeah,
you
that
don't
is
put
so
that weight
true.
in
We don't
yourself.
realize that. Yes, exactly. What do you think are some big misconceptions that people might have about energy healing that kind of get in the way or prevent them from trying it?
I think at some point the entire collective will need to go through this work, but I don't feel that it's something that it should be forced. It's like, is your soul restlessness? Like you feel that you cannot find relief, and it's calling you to explore and explore and explore, and curiosity and get deep. Like that calling. Like that you cannot stop listening. But I see a lot of people like that because it's a trend. Like to journaling and this and that and this and that and putting everything is like, and it hurts. So like even energy healing, if you don't feel a call for releasing layers or for doing this work, don't do it. Because and if you feel the call, you will know it, because there is a part of you that will hear something and will resonate. Maybe in the beginning what resonates the distortion, because that is the thing. Before removing the layers, or the biggest layers, what resonates with us, and that was me too. So all of us, the majority of us, is what is distorted, because that resonates what the layers that we are. We have those layers of the distorted greed, the artificial greed, what we are not around that. So we get into the content, into the following, into the guru, the distorted. And then when a few years in there, in the distorted, and you you have read million times who you are, the energy that you are, the unconditional love, but you cannot accept it. You have read million times that you need to heal, and you go into that healing, but you still cannot remember who you are. You still are in the same start point 4 years. That was me. And then you keep, there is still a voice inside you. There has to be more. There has to be more. We are loved. It has to be somewhere. And then when you are ready, you find the person that has the key to unlock what you are looking for, basically, to elevate yourself.
Essence. I love that. Yeah, I totally relate to that, and I go through those periods every now and then, just as you do. Thank you for sharing that, because it's definitely relatable. I really appreciate that. How do you think this entire journey has changed the way you see yourself in your life? Just all the work that you've done and now the work that you do for others. Curious about your perspective on that.
I would say the most, and every time that I have a session, I feel it. That is why, I don't know, it's amazing. Like the capability, which again is the same for everyone, exactly the same, to feel truly heaven on earth, that feeling of heaven on earth. Like that moment where, this is the truth, this is who we are. And that moment of feeling heaven on earth within, and not just as a brief second, which that is in the beginning, of course. In the beginning it's very brief, but then later you learn to embody that, like to embody it more and more and more. And again, it's a journey. So it's not an overnight thing. So I think that was for me like the biggest, that unlocking that from within, stopping looking outside for happiness and joy, and understand that it's always accessible within. And when we unlock it within, it shows externally, because it cannot be otherwise,
There's just so much out there that we can't see, but it's there, maybe unlocking those layers can help us just see a bigger picture of what's our reality that's out there. I'm curious on your thoughts. Like, one of the things that I struggle with sometimes too is, all the injustice in the world and the war and inequality, immigrants enslaved in detention centers being treated like animals, and maybe even worse than animals, You spoke a little bit about it earlier about the suffering, but I'm curious. For me, one of the things that I struggle with again is, okay, we're human in this human experience, and like, I can't bypass what's happening in this world. Like, I feel their energy, like I feel the suffering, I feel the pain, and then it makes me upset, and it's very disheartening. I don't stay in that space for too long, but have you ever had to work through that, or do you have any advice for anyone, like someone like myself? Like, how do we, navigate that without having to bypass it or act like it's not happening, because it is happening and we have to address it. Otherwise, change's not going to change. What do you think?
I have been through that as well. Like, I don't understand. The healing journey, unlocking unconditional love, great. But this is happening. And for me, what it changed, again, from within, from remembering, like a life experience. Remembering means like that it's a life experience, like you don't have to trust what you are seeing or reading from others. It is in your skin, you feel it within the depth of your soul, like understanding that this world, everything that is created, for example, those in power, in all statements of power, the entire structure is an artificial grid. So it's artificial. So it's made by soulless beings. So they can only create war because they don't have the divine spark. So they cannot produce unconditional love. So, and that is what we came here to change with our frequency, because the war outside, the physical illnesses, the enslavement can only change because they are not eternal, right? So the soulless beings, or beings that don't carry the divine spark, or like dark beings, if we can call it like that, which are the ones ruling the world. So the entire world is constructed within an artificial grid. So that keep us forgetting and disconnected from the organic way of living, organic way, let's say, lead by the rules of the heart, rules of the unconditional love.
Of what we're capable as a human being.
So it helped me a lot, understanding that everything that is going through, it is because of that we came here to change, like to change. Because they are not, So the moment that enough people have embodied unconditional love, or in other words, unlock their true selves and remove the layers of what they are not, the more the war will end. So how to end war, how to end hunger, how to end slavery, how to end children being killed in other parts of the world, by people unlocking who they truly are, those frequencies, because they are not eternal and we are, and they know it. So they can only, that is why the greed is so strong, and we need to go beyond and see beyond the greed, and understanding that looking up, and this is a very hard and very difficult pill to swallow, at least it was for me, like, because we are in the grid and we are meant to live here, and we cannot bypass living here, and we cannot bypass going to the hospital when we are sick, and we cannot bypass, you know what I mean, the life. And we are meant to stay anchored indeed. We are not meant to go and live in the mountain, because the change is made within, inside the grid. But we need to understand that those creating the world, or they don't carry unconditional love. They cannot do otherwise. They don't know anything else, so they create illnesses, they create everything.
So it's being aware of that too, as well. Being aware
that it's a war in our, and this war ends by we ending our inner war with ourselves, and that is when we remove what we are not. So that is why I said healing. I don't even like the word anymore, because it's being misused. It's not healing. Holy word is remove what you are not.
It
so that you can.
That way.
Because that is how words is, that is how hunger is, that is how, I mean, we can manifest and we can do a small action which are beautiful, and all of that helps. But the true, and that is what we came here to do. We cannot avoid it. We are here, and we have incarnated here for 300 lifetimes just to do this. But for us, it's not a problem, because our souls are eternal, and there are younger souls that are in places of conflict, and that are having a much harder circumstances in all possible ways, because they are starting the journey. They recently separated from the source, and they are starting the journey as an aspect of source to remember who they truly are. And you can only remember that by comparison, by polarity. So by pain, I can remember love. By heart,
the polarities, the dualities in life.
Exactly. Some soul chose that as well, like going through, I don't know, a lot of trauma in this life. That was me as well. In order to be able to remember who they are. So there are two things. One, created by beings that don't carry unconditional love. They are not created in the container of unconditional love, and they are not eternal, and they know that. So the only way that they can access these beautiful frequencies is by stealing it from others, and that is the majority of the gurus speaking about energy healing. They are not truly answering unconditional love. They are working, they are being fed by entities that are created by soulless beings, and so that understanding that and feeling it within me helped me a lot to end the inner war and understand that the best I could do for the world was myself, or in the layers of what I was not, and be able to access this energy, this true energy within, in order to move the energy around, to work with this energy, with the true way of working with energy, to answer it in the planet, it's not even about helping others in their journey, which as well, because the more people we help, the more they can help,
Yes, of course, the more our world heals.
Yes, but it's also like and we are all in this together, we are not separate.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. That's amazing. And for me, that resonates a bit. I mean, my husband have a lot of conversations around, well, how did this even start to begin with? Like, who corrupted our minds? Who corrupted, like, just everything changed. We used to just be free beings to not, like, for example, social constructs of money, and why was that even created in the first place? And we used to not have money, and now there's a scarcity of money and the fear, and like everything, basically our reality, like a lot of it's built around money, and then it affects us, and it just affects everything in our world today, right? There's just so many things that we could get into, Macarena, that I know we could just talk forever.
Everything was created from distortion. So
that makes sense.
Focusing on that, I want money. Is focusing on something that was created from distortion, from the artificial grid. So focus more like in equal energy exchange. Okay, the coin in this world is money, and it's fine. We don't have to fight that. We are here for that journey, but see it as an energy exchange, because that is truly what it. And in that, flow. It's an energy.
That perspective and that intention too, right? That makes a big difference. That's such a huge eye opener. Macarena, do you think that we have time to do like a little 5-minute,
I
just
think
like
that
a
we
little
can, yeah, like something that's
transmission, a little energy healing? So you just feel whatever you want to share with us today and
yes,
take it away.
Yes, I'm gonna see what comes. So, just close the eyes, connect with your breath at your own tempo, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, relaxing your body, releasing everything. You can release thoughts that don't need your attention right now. It is safe to let go and just come back to you, to this body, to this moment, this now. It is safe to be here. And we are gonna ground down, all the way down into the heart of Mother Earth, connecting your heart to hers and her heart to yours, and feeling the embrace, feeling the love, the protection that Mother Earth gives, and allowing these energies to flow all the way up, opening your energy centers, releasing everything that is blocking your ability to connect with your heart and access the wisdom within, and opening your heart more and more and more, feeling the love and feeling the heart space expanding and growing bigger and bigger and bigger and wider and wider and wider. And we are gonna invite the frequency of unconditional love, flowing all the way through your crown, feeling every cell of your body, opening the energy centers and opening the heart more and more and more. And we are gonna let ourselves be embraced by this frequency, which is always gentle, subtle, but loving. And we are just gonna stay here a few seconds, just feeling, receiving, and allowing. Tayanatayana shatama uwanana uwanatayata shata uwanana yanatata uwana yanamata yatasha uwanatata iyanatayama. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and fully come back to the present moment.
It's hard for me to open my eyes right now.
Of course,
Thank you,
I
Macarena.
also want to stay in this frequency,
I know.
But yeah.
It was hard for me to open my eyes, literally. They just felt like just staying shut. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. And so maybe this week we can have another conversation about this, another podcast episode on light language and how that can open allow us to receive the codes and do that deep healing and layers, releasing those layers, because I know that's a whole other topic that will definitely take some time for us to get into. And I would love to have that conversation if you want to come back on. We have
Of
another
course.
conversations about that. I think that would be really, really wonderful, because basically it's a form of energy, right? An energy, the way to receive codes. How would you define, in simple terms, light language?
How did I find? Yeah, I mean, it came naturally, to be honest. A little bit later on my journey, it came naturally. It came like, I'm not gonna say one day I woke up and I was speaking light language and moving the hands, which is a way of moving energy. But it was a little bit like that,
Loving energy.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie. I haven't done any course.
Yeah,
I opened myself to connect, to explore that. And it just came. And of course, it took me a little bit of time to connect with it, to accept it, have to be
accept it.
perfect. It is what it is. And it is, and then
Yeah.
you connect with it. It's just another way of moving energy.
Yes, we definitely have to get into that conversation, how light language has helped to heal you, but also others as well. I love that. That'd be wonderful. I hope
Yeah.
you all enjoy that beautiful energy healing transmission today from Macarena. Before we wrap up, Macarena, is there anything, a message that you'd like every mother, woman listening today to take away from your story, or any message you have for us?
So I will share the message that, for them, for all of the mothers and women, and really whoever is here with us today, that if they feel a call in their heart, the fire in their heart that tells them day after day that there is more to their lives, that they deserve more, that there is more to unpack, more happiness to be unlocked, more love to be unlocked, just to follow that calling from the heart, and never lose the curiosity or for exploring, exploring that call, following that thread of energy, because it is true, it's probably gonna lead into a expansion that you don't even think is possible for you at the moment, but it's just there waiting for you to see it, go for it, and receive it. I will say
Beautiful.
never stop feeling or like going after the fire in the heart, that impulse of there has to be more, there has to
Mhm.
be more joy, more happiness, more love. I mean, I feel it inside me that it's
Yeah.
possible. I'm gonna see where this fire in my heart leads me. I deserve it.
Yes, I love that. Yes, we all deserve that. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that beautiful message. And lastly, Macarena, how can listeners work with you, find you?
So they can find me in bloomingrose.love. The name came from honoring the rose lineage that I work very closely with. And I am on Instagram and recently started YouTube and Spotify and on my website, of course. Right now I offer, mostly one-on-one sessions. But I know that it's coming at some point, offering more like like group container, or like where women can, with
Mhm.
similar needs, can work and don't feel so alone in this journey. So,
Beautiful.
but I want to say thank you so much for having me here. It had been a super pleasure to talk to you, be with you, and with your listeners.
Follow your heart, everybody. Follow that
Yeah.
feeling. Yes, I love that. Thank you so, so much for your
Thank
time and for
you.
being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to have this beautiful heart to heart medicine conversation, and so inspiring and enlightening and fascinating. There's so much we can get into. So keep an eye out for part 2 in the near future, also of us getting into some light language and more on the healing journey. and embodying our essence, our true essence, and what that looks like, and going beneath the layers. So if you all enjoyed this episode, please do me a favor, subscribe, likes, share, post it on your social media, tag me. I'm going to put Macarena's socials and ways that you can work with her info in the show notes. So go check that out. And don't forget to leave a review. Would really appreciate it. It helps the podcast grow and reach other mamas as well. All right, my friends. Thank you, beautiful, beautiful, amazing, inspiring women out there and mamas. Keep doing amazing work. Thank you for showing up and for showing up for yourselves and joining me on the journey. So y'all take care, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.